So 2.18 Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anasino aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. So Krishna here says this deha is antavanta, is perishable. It is not meant to exist forever. Antavanta ime deha. But the sharirinaha, the person inside the deha, or the spirit soul inside the deha, sharirinaha. It's also called dehinaha earlier. That sharirinaha or dehinaha, the spirit soul, it is nitya. Nityasya uktaha. It is said to be nitya. So Krishna is saying it is so said, uktaha. Means he is also quoting from the Vedic literature. So Krishna wants to show it to people how to present a philosophy based on the authority of the scriptures. Of course, Bhagavad Gita itself is a scripture, but the way to quote your philosophical point or to back up your philosophical point is by referencing the scriptures. So the scriptures, it says, Nityasya, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. So Krishna says, Nityasya Uktaha, Sharirinaha. The spirit soul is said to be Nitya. And Anasinaha Aprameyasya. And it is never to be destroyed. And it is immeasurable. And therefore you fight, O Bharata. Again, so Krishna drives home the point. There is a philosophical reason why Krishna says the words, as well as the external reason, which is the immediate reason, which is to convert Arjuna to get him to fight. So from the 11th verse onwards, Krishna started this knowledge where he starts explaining how the spirit soul is eternal and it is transmigrating from one body to the other. From childhood to youth to old age and eventually to another body at the time of death. And how there are two natures. There is a material nature and the spiritual nature. The spirit soul and the body. And how the body constantly changes. Na asato vidyate bhavaha. There is no endurance for the body. And Arjuna might get the question, okay, the spirit soul might be eternal, but why can't it stay in the body eternally? So for that, Krishna dispels that confusion. If at all there is some remnant of that hope, Krishna says, Antavanta ime deha. This body is bound to finish. Antavanta. It is supposed to die. You cannot protect it. And the spirit soul can never be killed. Nityasya. It is immeasurable and you cannot destroy it. Anasinaha. Therefore, from both sides, you have no reason to lament. The soul is too minute to be seen by the enemy, what to speak of being killed. It is immeasurable. It cannot be measured so that you can attack it. And nor the body can be saved for eternity. So the body is bound to die and the living entity cannot be killed. So what is the cause of lamentation? Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Therefore go and fight. The spirit soul is important, not the body. Because the point here being made in the purport, as soon as the spirit soul is out of the body begins to decompose. What is the analogy given? According to Vedanta Sutra, the living entity is qualified as light because of being part and parcel of the supreme light. And just as the sun maintains the whole universe, similarly the spirit soul maintains the whole body. So therefore the spirit soul is important. The moment the soul passes away, the body decomposes. So the spirit soul is given the utmost importance, and because the Bhishma, Drona, the Pramukhataha, These people's spirit soul is intact. You are not killing it. And the body is anyway supposed to die. You should not give up your prescribed duty based on the religious scriptures. He is being asked to not sacrifice the religious duty that he has for some bodily considerations. So therefore he is advised to fight. And Prabhupada makes a very, very important point in the purport, where he says, the minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. So here it is being told, what is the basis of us acquiring material bodies? The basis of us acquiring material bodies is according to our work. One acquires body according to our work. Therefore, one should follow the religious principles prescribed in the scriptures to work appropriately so that we can get a better body in the next life. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Karmana daiva netrena jantur dehopapattaye. Based on the work we do, based on the quality of work we do, our future body is determined under the supervision of Daiva. Karmana daiva netrena jantur deha upapattaye. We get the appropriate body. Now this statement is very, very important to understand. Why? Because in everybody's life, there is happiness and distress. The sukha and dukkha. The way to understand this is, and why this is most important to get to Karmana Daiva Netrena is like this. Over the weekend we were preparing some material for the youth retreat that we conducted for some of our young students, our own children, as well as for the students of universities, Stanford University, San Jose State, and other people. So we were trying to make a point about sukha and dukkha. How a materialistic person tries to enjoy life, and even against his own will, he suffers in his life. So there is going to be happiness in some parts of his life, and then there is going to be distress. And we were trying to make the point that only by Krishna consciousness one can have a better life, either in this body or the next body that we get after death. And so when a person who is not in Krishna consciousness, how does he enjoy? And the person in Krishna consciousness, how does he enjoy? Because the moment you are born, the sukha and dukkha are written for you. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyadah tallabhyate dukkhavat anyatah sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. The moment you are born, your sukha and dukkha are determined, and you have to consume it. It is like you are given 2 glasses of juice. One is sweet juice and a bitter juice. And you have to keep drinking from one of these 2 glasses. If the sweet juice is all over, because you have to continue drinking, you have to drink from the bitter juice. So if you consume sukha very fast, if you engage in sense gratificatory activities very fast, and then all that you will be left with is the distress. Therefore, the sages, they consume bitter juice first, austerities, and so that they can relish the sukha later. Of course, there is bodily consideration in that to enjoy bodily happiness. The yogis, in some stages, not everyone. The idea is on the material platform, the idea is if you undergo dukkha voluntarily, you can undergo sukha later. So the sukha and dukkha is a very, very interesting concept, because by understanding this, we can link to that karma. Like, for example, one person may ask, okay, you are saying everybody's sukha is determined. And how does it matter how I enjoy that sukha? I can enjoy it by chanting or going to temple or reading a book, remaining in mode of goodness, or I can enjoy in passionate way, engage in my sense gratification. The same sukha is produced. Either you enjoy it in mode of, because a person might get sukha by sleeping. Another person may get sukha by working, workaholic. He enjoys work. We cannot deny the fact that he is not enjoying the work. There is happiness in that. We cannot deny the fact that one takes his family out for a vacation and enjoys. And similarly, a person might get enjoyment by philosophizing, by studying scriptures. So, how does it matter in what form we enjoy sukha? So that is where the karma concept comes in. Karmana daivanetrena. Based on the kind of enjoyment you do, your karma is determined, the future karma. Just like this, the way to understand this is, just a person buys a new car. Say 3 people are there, and according to destiny, they are supposed to get equal amount of sukha, for example. Say they are given similar car, say a Honda Accord, new car they are given. That means they can enjoy that car. All of them have equal sukha. So a person in mode of goodness, how does he enjoy sukha? So he drives it properly. He follows the regulations. He follows the speed limit. He follows the traffic lights. Everything is properly followed. And as a result, no cop catches him and no points on his driving license. And he is safe. He is not putting anybody in danger, and he is himself not in danger. A person in mode of passion, what he will do? He will drive it very rashly. He will try to squeeze every ounce of the comfort present in the car. He will cause so much wear and tear that the car will get damaged very soon. And he will break traffic lights. He will get caught by police. There will be points on his license. And he will put people on danger, and he will himself be under danger. And a person in mode of ignorance will also enjoy the same car. How? By not using it at all. And not caring for it also. So the car will just get rusted. It eventually will not be useful at all. So it is like kripana. So a brahmana will properly make use of the car, meaning the vehicle, the material body. Whereas the opposite kripana will either use it rashly, causing wear and tear, and eventually causing the deterioration, or not using at all. So this is what determines your next life. You cannot say that everybody is having same sukha. How does it matter how I enjoy? I'm getting similar sukha by sleeping, or I'm getting similar sukha by reading a book or leading a life in mode of goodness. The difference is, by leading a life or by enjoying in a sattvic way, you are not enjoying like a passionate person which is full of dangers, which is full of agitation. Rajoguna means agitation. Even though you are consuming that sukha, but internally there is agitation. There is some kind of background struggle going on. And ignorance means there is only a thinking of happiness, but there is no happiness at all. So that is the karma. Karmana daiva netrena. Because you have performed work in mode of ignorance and passion, your next body is determined based on that. Because you misutilized the car, you will be given, like for example, a father, he gives his son, by thinking that the son has become advanced, he gives him an advanced calculator, scientific calculator. But if the son shows that he is not advanced at all, not responsible at all, he throws it down or he uses it only for a basic purpose. Then what will the father do? He will take it away, and next time he will give only the basic calculator or even a toy calculator. Because the son has not advanced to make utilization, nor rather he is misutilizing it. So rather the father will give it to an advanced or developed son instead of giving it to somebody who is not developed. Similarly, the material nature punishes you. If you utilize the sukha dukkha of this body in a gross way, in a krupana way, in a mode of ignorance or passion, the material nature will punish you by giving you an appropriate body which will suit your mentality. Because you are not advanced, developed in your consciousness, you will get a body according to your inclination. So therefore that statement that Prabhupada makes is very important. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. So that is the point to understand. Just because you have access to happiness should not justify you enjoying that happiness in ulterior ways, because the next birth is waiting for you. So the observance of religious principles should be utilized, because based on that our next body is determined. Of course, Krishna consciousness transcends the bodily concept. We don't work for a better next material body. We just try to please the Lord in whatever body we have. Better body in Krishna consciousness comes as a byproduct of our serving Krishna. It is not that we serve Krishna to get a better next material body. Desiring a better body is also in one sense a kind of sense gratification. But in Krishna consciousness there is no scope for sense gratification. There is only desiring to serve the Lord. A devotee does not mind taking birth in any body as long as he is engaged in his service. Devotee actually wants to be a devotee's devotee. He wants to take birth in a family even as an insect. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Kita Janma, even if I am born as an insect, but if that is in the house of your pure devotee and I get the association of your pure devotee, I will consider it as greatest asset for me. Instead of becoming born as Brahma and remaining antagonistic or not becoming your devotee. See the mentality of a devotee. So recently I've heard one devotee was saying how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would give interview to people. So if somebody comes and says he's just a devotee of Krishna, so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would not give his interview. But if somebody comes and says he is devotee of Krishna, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, I have all the time in the world for you. I can sit the entire day with you. And the devotee was also saying the example of a famous personality in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shivananda Sen Das. He was always serving. His only duty was to serve devotees. Every year when the devotees would come to Jagannath Puri from Bengal, that was a ritual they followed. during the Chaturmasya period, starting from Radhayatra time, they would make preparations and they would gather all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, and they would come to Puri for witnessing the Radhayatra as well as performing Harinam Sankirtan during those 4 months. And the leader or the person who would make all kinds of arrangements for this devotees' travel is Shivananda Sen Das. He would take all kinds of distress in paying the toll, in arranging for accommodation, in procuring things for the travel. Just imagine what kinds of logistics involved. Just for a small event, we struggle so much. So his whole life was based on that. He was deriving pleasure just by serving devotees. Let me be under distress. Let me take all that. Let me absorb all that pressure, tension, so that I can give relief to devotees. See the kind of mentality of Shivananda Sen Prabhu. And that's how he pleased the Lord. And we recently heard an incident of a devotee who left his body, not the Chaitanya Charitamrita example, very recently, one brahmachari in one of the temples. So one devotee was saying about him, he left his body at a very young age because of cancer. He was in his early 30s. And he was not known to be a great preacher, great lecturer, great singer. He was not known to be famous for anything. But what he would do was, day in and day out, he would just serve his fellow devotees in the ashram. He would take care of their material necessities. He would stitch their buttons for their kurta if the buttons are missing. He would have all kinds of colors of thread with him, all kinds of button colors, shapes. And people, even while wearing their kurta, they would rely on him to get the job done for them. They would be chanting, but this devotee would be sewing for them to get them ready for going out. Or sometimes when the devotees come in late, and they would get so tired and just sleep in the temple hall, and he would go and make them arrangements properly so that the mosquito net is properly placed and they would not be at risk of getting bitten by mosquitoes. And in the morning they would wake up and see who has done this. And later they would find that this person has done this. And even on the deathbed, he was, pointing to their kurtas, those missing buttons, and say he would want to do that service. Even though he was emaciated physically, he was always in that mood of serving his fellow devotees. Even during Prabhupada's time, there used to be a devotee called Jayananda Prabhu. He was an exemplary devotee. He was so exemplary that Prabhupada asked for his picture frame to be kept every time there is Radhayatra procession conducted by us. So one devotee was sharing, Keshav Bharati Prabhu Goswami, now he is sannyasi. He was sharing that even Jayananda Prabhu actually left his body because of cancer. And he had this leukemia where, some parts of the body become swollen so much that physically it becomes intolerable. And he was walking and doing service just with that kind of a situation. And he was always working hard so that the devotees can enjoy in their devotional atmosphere. And he would take all kinds of hit. He would drive cars. He would repair devotees' cars. He would work hard for getting the money for the temple. He would make the Radhayatra carts, staying always outside in the heat and cold. And Prabhupada would be so fond of him. Very, very, he has attained the favor of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada asked to celebrate his disappearance day also in our temples. So the right mentality is Gopi Bhartuhu Padakamalayor Dasa 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 Anudasa. We should aspire to become not servant of Krishna directly, servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna's devotees. That's when the root cause of our existence in this world, the ego, will be destroyed. The more we become the servant of Krishna's devotee, the more happier we become. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that the gopis who are serving their superior gopis, so like that, the deeper the gopis went in serving a superior gopi, who served a superior gopi, like that there is a deep chain. And the farthest in the link, that devotee was deriving unlimited bliss. Then the devotee is closer to Krishna. So like that. So I'll stop here. Any other questions, comments on what we discussed?